You know that feeling when it seems like your own head is your biggest obstacle at work? Well, today we're going to crack open a powerful toolkit for your mind. It's called cognitive behavioral therapy, and it's all about how you can manage stress and really take back the reins, especially when things get tough.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we're going to look at the reality of business stress. Then, we'll dig into why this is so much more than just positive thinking. We'll see what this toolkit for your mind actually is, how your thoughts really work, and then, this is the good part, we'll apply it to a real-world example, the dreaded cold call. And finally, we'll see how it all comes together to help you take back control.
All right, first things first. Let's get real about a feeling that, honestly, most of us in the business world know way too well, especially when the economy is, doing its thing. So, do you ever feel just completely weighed down? That slump in motivation, that constant stress from juggling things like rent, cash flows, staffing issues, it's a lot. A lot of people have started calling it the recession blues, and it is a very real thing.
And this stuff isn't just in your head, right? It absolutely shows up physically. We're talking that constant fatigue, stomach problems, maybe you feel dizzy sometimes, or you're catching every single cold that goes around. But what do we do at work? We just brush it off. Oh, I'm just run down. We completely ignore what's really driving it.
Okay, I know what some of you might be thinking right now. Here we go, another power of positive thinking trend. And you know what? That's a totally fair thought. So let's be super clear about why cognitive behavioral therapy is a completely different animal.
Look, positive thinking is kind of like looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I'm fabulous, which, let's be honest, doesn't really help when you're worried about making rent. CBT, on the other hand, this is the real deal. It's an actual evidence-based psychotherapy. We're talking approved by governments and health boards. The whole shebang. It's not about ignoring problems. It's about giving you practical, real-world skills to deal with them.
So if it's not that airy-fairy stuff, then what is cognitive behavioral therapy? What are we actually talking about here?
Well, for starters, it's the world's fastest-growing psychotherapy, and its entire focus is on building you a robust mental toolkit, one that's filled with practical coping skills and self-management techniques. Think of it as personal development, but on steroids.
And here's the absolute key. It's all about shining a spotlight on the patterns in your thinking, your feeling, and your behaving that are just unhelpful. You know, the self-defeating stuff that's holding you back, often without you even realizing it.
Okay, so how does this actually work in our heads? Let's pop the hood and take a look at the engine that drives CBT. It all boils down to a really simple but incredibly powerful chain reaction. It starts with an unhelpful thought. That thought triggers a negative feeling, and that feeling then drives the self-defeating behavior. Thought, feeling, behavior. That's the sequence, and it all starts with the thought. All right, I know that might sound a little academic, so let's bring it right down to earth. Let's use a real-world scenario that I think a lot of us can relate to, or at least dread, making a cold call. So you're sitting at your desk, about to pick up the phone, and what happens? Your body can literally perceive that call as a hazard. It kicks into that ancient primal fight-or-flight mode. Seriously, it's like there's a tiger in the office. Your heart starts pounding, your stomach does flips, and for what? A phone call? It's kind of crazy when you think about it. So why does your body do that? Well, it all starts with a flood of these automatic negative thoughts. They just pop into your head almost faster than you can even register them. You don't get a chance to push back.
So let's just grab one of those thoughts. This is awful and I can't bear it. In that moment, that feels 100% true, doesn't it? But this is where CBT steps in. It teaches you to be a sort of thought catcher. You learn to spot it, grab it, and then challenge it. This specific type of unhelpful thinking actually has a name. It's called awfulizing. Great word, right? It's a cognitive distortion where you maximize the discomfort of something and just blow the whole situation way out of proportion. So the key is to dispute it with a simple reality check. You ask yourself, okay, wait a second, can I really not bear this? Or do I just not enjoy it? And that simple reframe from unbearable to unpleasant is often enough to start taking away its power.
Okay, how about this one? This thought feels so certain, so final. There's no point. I know what's going to happen.
This is another classic distortion. It's called fortune telling. It's when you act like you have a crystal ball that only shows bad outcomes, even though you have zero real evidence for your prediction.
CBT prompts you to put on your detective hat. You have to challenge that thought by asking for the facts. Where's the proof? Where's the evidence for my prediction? This simple question helps you separate a pessimistic assumption from what's actually real.
So you see what's happening here. By systematically catching and challenging these automatic thoughts again and again, you can begin to fundamentally change your emotional and even your physical response to stressful situations.
And this is the ultimate goal here. The point isn't that every cold call will suddenly be a huge success. The point is that you can make the calls, and whether they go well or not, it doesn't send you down into that horrible, sick feeling. It's about disconnecting a single performance from your core sense of self-worth.
This brings us to what I think is the most empowering takeaway in this entire process. It's from expert Veronica Walsh, who said, "Human beings cause their own upsetness. And if we're the ones causing it with our thoughts, well, that means we also have the power to uncause it."
So, I'll leave you with this. As you go about your day-to-day, just think about it. What's one unhelpful, automatic thought that's holding you back? And what do you think would happen if, just for a moment, you stopped and you questioned it?